How's everyone doing? Today I have a massive Blu-ray and DVD collection update. 21 pickups. Not necessarily massive in quantity, but some of the size of the box sets, it's a pretty healthy stack. 21 is still a big number. But let's go ahead and go through these, and if you've seen any of them, definitely let me know what you think of them. Now, some of these ones have been on like stacks on my floor for a while, so I might have shown a couple of these prior, so forgive me if I have, because I kind of get disorganized when I put some of the movies in the piles on here on the floor, and I've forgotten which ones I've actually shown before. But first up is Batman and Superman Dawn of Justice, the 3D version. This is the Ultimate Edition, and I heard a lot of criticism for this movie, and I thought it was decently entertaining. I thought Ben Affleck did a great job as Bruce Wayne and Batman. Remember when he was first announced, there was so much hate for that, and I actually made a video talking about how I thought he would be great in that role, and to me, he was great in that role. I know a lot of people said, oh, he was a terrible actor, he did Geely. Robert De Niro did Rocky and Bullwinkle, the live-action movie, so, you know, it's a lot of growth here. Robert De Niro, obviously, I'm not putting him in the same category, but I think Ben Affleck is a very good actor now and a great director, and he was excellent in this role. I loved Wonder Woman, Gal Gadot in here too. I like Doomsday, some great action sequences. I love how it all comes together at the end. A ton of bonus features in here too, over 2 hours of extras. And it has the extended cut with 30 more minutes and a nice lenticular slipcover. And good release from Warner Brothers. Next up is Bridge of Spies. I really enjoyed the heck out of this one. Very good espionage movie with Tom Hanks, directed by Steven Spielberg. Mark Rylance got the Oscar for Best Supporting Actor. I thought his performance was really good in here, but it was limited. I don't think he should have won Best Supporting Actor just because there was very limited screen time for him. I thought the other people who were that year that were nominated, like Sylvester Stallone for Creed, I would have loved to see that happen. Even Tom Hardy in The Revenant, Mark Ruffalo for Spotlight. I can't remember who else it was in there, but I basically felt like everybody else would. I think Christian Bale too was nominated. I think basically everybody else, in my opinion, would have been a better choice than Mark Rylance, just because it was such a limited performance and a limited screen time. It was a pivotal role for the movie. But overall, I don't know, it's just me kind of nitpicking, but fantastic film if you're into war, espionage kind of movies. Tons of bonus features, great performance from Tom Hanks as well. Big fan of him, he's been around for so long and has done so many great movies. Let me know what your favorite Tom Hanks movie is. For me, it might be Road to Perdition. I know that might not be like, you know, stereotypical. I think a lot of people would pick like Green Mile or Philadelphia or Forrest Gump or something like that, but Road to Perdition is one of my all-time favorite movies. That ending shot still stays with me, but I digress. I'm going to ramble on, and this is going to go for super long. Shameless, the complete 5th season. I binge-watched a couple of these seasons, and holy moly, I got super into this. And the lead actress in here is friggin' stunning. I can't see her name on here right now, but she's been in a bunch of other stuff before. But oh my gosh, I love this show, and I gotta catch up and check out all the rest of the seasons. But that actress right there, oh, love her in this show, and stunning. But I love the heck out of this one. It's raunchy. It gets a little bit over the top at times, kind of jumps the shark and tries to outdo itself a little bit, but still highly entertaining. Shameless, season 5 right here. Leftovers, the complete 2nd season. Really enjoyed this series as well. I got to catch up on this series too. This is one that I just binge watched and loved it the first couple seasons, and can't wait to check this one out. There's a bunch of people who inexplicably vanish, and there's I love the way this season plays out too. I feel like this is when you can actually watch the 2nd season without even watching the 1st season. That's what I actually did. I watched the 2nd season first, and then I watched the 1st season because I got hooked on this. But love this show, and got to watch the newer seasons too. Aloha, which I saw this a while ago, and I remember being decently entertaining, a great cast. You've got Bradley Cooper, Emma Stone, Rachel McAdams, Bill Murray, John Krasinski, Danny McBride, and Alec Baldwin. I really like the way, my favorite part is probably the way that Bradley Cooper and John Krasinski play off each other. That was just awesome to me. But I remember this having some faults. I remember liking it, but not necessarily loving it. I felt they could have done more with it and made it a little bit better overall, especially the way that it played out at the end. There's some romance aspects. He has his ex there, and then a new romance, budding romance. Bill Murray is kind of crazy in his role, which is kind of typical for him. But I like Bradley Cooper as an actor. He's done some horror films as well. Midnight Meat Train, which was awesome. Case 39, which was awesome. Both that I feel need more, deserving of more love. Especially Case 39, I think that's kind of underrated. I think people, especially in the horror community, kind of passed it by because the Hollywood cast, Renee Zellweger and Bradley Cooper in the leads. And that's a shame because fantastic film. And this one was enjoyable, but it wasn't perfect. Next up is Spotlight. This was one of my favorites of, I guess, 2015. Such a phenomenal film. Super tragic, based on the true story of the Boston priests who were essentially molesting kids for decades and just basically getting moved to other churches and parishes and stuff. And at the end, they show some of the actual testimony, and they use some of the actual things that were said, and it's just shocking that that's what they were thinking and what they said, and just a very well acted, well scripted film. Fantastic cast here too. Mark Ruffalo, Michael Keaton, Rachel McAdams, Liev Schreiber, John Slattery, Stanley Tucci. I would highly recommend this one. Great direction, great cinematography, just everything. The script was phenomenal. Definitely a high recommendation for me. Spotlight. Very tragic too. And it's based on a real story. Like the one part where he realizes that one of the priests who were molesting kids lives right down the street from him, and he has kids. That scene just chilling. I couldn't imagine being in that shoes there as a parent. And the next up is Secret in Their Eyes, which is a remake, and it shocks me that people didn't realize this was a remake because the original Spanish film is a modern classic masterpiece in my opinion, and that deserves apparently more love and appreciation. I had no idea. Barely anybody knew about it. When this one came out, people were talking about it. I'm like, you didn't know it was a remake? I felt the other one deserved to be critically acclaimed. I thought this was decent. A lot of people crapped on it, but I thought it was decent for what it was. It was unnecessary. I feel like the same thing for Let the Right One In, and then the remake for it too, Let Me In. Let Me In was a great film, but it was unnecessary. And I feel like the same thing with this, except this wasn't quite great. It was very good, and I like the casting here. Chiwetel Ejiofor, Nicole Kidman, Julia Roberts. And again, it's not a shot-for-shot remake. They change, obviously, a lot of the scenery up and a lot of the, kind of modernization and the big cities and stuff like that. But it's kind of the same thing, the way that it plays out. They didn't change too much with it, but the original is so much better. But still decent for the remake. Everest, which phenomenal cinematography in here, great cast too. Just everybody in here, Josh Brolin. I really liked Jake Gyllenhaal in here. And I like at the end where they, talk about the real people and based again on real events. And I thought the directing here was really good too. The cinematography blew me away. It's one of those films that was based on a true story. The treacherous Everest climb and what happened to the people who were involved. Sam Worthington, Keira Knightley, Emily Watson, Robin Wright, John Hawkes, Jason Clarke, and then other people I already mentioned. But the thing was, I just don't think it was that riveting of a story. From a cinematic, from an overall experience, it was a good film, but it wasn't one that blew me away. I thought the cinematography was by far the best part of it. But still a decent film. Next up is Brothers. The soundtrack in here was excellent too. Tobey Maguire, Jake Gyllenhaal, Natalie Portman all played their roles really well. I didn't used to be a big fan of Tobey Maguire, but I've seen him in some great performances. Ride with the Devil, probably my favorite. I really liked him here as well. He comes back from the war. He shows some signs of PTSD. There's intermingling with his brother and his wife when he was away at war, and they thought he might have been killed. And some really dramatic aspects here, very poignant. Great drama. I love the heck out of this one. Really surprised me. Next up is Contraband with Marky Mark, Kate Beckinsale, a few other recognizable, Ben Foster. Ben Foster to me, Giovanni Ribisi, a whole bunch of other recognizable people, J.K. Simmons. But for me, Ben Foster's such an underrated actor. He kind of steals the scenes that he's in every movie. Like 30 Days of Night when he was like the stranger. Just so many films. He deserves to be a lead, especially Hell or High Water. But yeah, he deserves to be a lead in so many movies. He's just a phenomenal Even Alpha Dog, he was awesome in Alpha Dog. I'm not a big fan of that movie. I know everybody loves it, but his performance in that was like the best part for me. But this one was really good too. Some good action sequences, some good tension in here. They have a kind of a stealing. What is the painting was the big thing. I don't want to give too much. I kind of did, but you have to watch the movie to really understand. It's really not giving too much away, but I love the whole thing. The way that it plays out was just awesome to me. Some good heist action in there too. Next up is the Rush Hour Trilogy, and this has a bonus disc exclusive of Brett and Jackie look back at Rush Hour. So some Mondo artwork right there too. So there you go. And Brett Ratner, and I like the artwork to it. Nice outer slipcase right there. And I like the Rush Hour films. And here we go. So very happy that they released this in a full collection like this. And I think everybody knows those films. Great action. I love the way that Jackie Chan and Chris Tucker play off each other. The Polar Express Steelbook. Really good animated Christmas movie with Tom Hanks. Great special features in here. Really nice Steelbook from Warner Brothers. There's the back with the Christmas tree. And there's some disc artwork in there and interior artwork with the train. And next up is Space Jam. I love this. I grew up on this. All the cast members in here. You know, Charles Barkley was in here. Muggsy Bogues, Sean Bradley, Danny DeVito doing the voice too. Was the Nurlux and the Monstars. Bill Murray, Michael Jordan, all the Looney Tunes characters. And I don't know if this code still works or not, but if so, there you go. And there's interior artwork in here too. But I love the artwork for this too. I thought that was great. So really cool to see this get a Steelbook. Again, this is a lot of nostalgia for me. It's one I watched all the time growing up as a kid. And next up is another Steelbook from, I did show this one before, I just remembered I did. Oh well, it's gonna happen anyways. Star Trek Beyond, the Steelbook. Again, I love the homage right there for the poster artwork. And I don't know if this was redeemed or not. This was a Best Buy exclusive Steelbook, but there you go for the code. And has a little bit of interior artwork with like the stars. I thought this had some good action. I like Idris Elba's character. And then that alien right there too. She was awesome in there. It's been a little bit since I've seen it, but a decent film in the Star Trek franchise, essentially. And then next up is Knight Rider from Mill Creek, the complete series. I remember watching this in, I think, reruns when I was a kid. There was like the bad character right there, bad David Hasselhoff, Michael. And then Kit, I remember the talking car was awesome. I had like a toy of the talking car. But there's the complete series there, a 16-disc Blu-ray set. And I like that Mill Creek is putting out a lot of these TV shows on Blu-ray. Miami Vice, the complete Blu-ray series. Now, I heard like one of the discs had an audio issue, and then they did send out replacement discs if your one was affected like that. And I love the artwork that they chose there, very fitting for it. Crockett and Tubbs, Don Johnson in there. I remember watching this in reruns when I was a kid too. And next up are some of the DVDs. Casual Encounters, which I saw a while ago. And I remember being pleasantly surprised by it, much better than I was expecting. Taran Killam from Saturday Night Live. Brooklyn Decker, stunning. Mark Boone Jr. from Sons of Anarchy and 30 Days of Night. David Arquette, who was crazy in that role. But he gets, the lead guy, his girlfriend breaks up with him, treats him poorly essentially, and he's just trying to find love. All his friends are kind of pushing him to do online dating, and he has some crazy encounters. And then of course he finds the dream girl right there. Some good special features. Really good rom-com. Again, very underrated kind of indie rom-com that was much better than I was expecting. Next up is Shout, a rock and romance explode in a Texas town. This has James Walters. I thought it was Jamie Walters from Beverly Hills 90210. I remember he had, was it The Heights or something like that? He had an actual music group. John Travolta, Heather Graham, Richard Jordan, Linda Fiorentino, who was excellent in The Last Seduction and Jade. Jeff Hornaday is it's the directorial debut of the Flashdance choreographer Jeffrey Hornaday. So it's going to be very much in that vein of Flashdance and Footloose is what it looks like to me. So looking forward to checking this one out. I haven't watched this one yet. And it's one I never heard of before. I had to pick it up when I saw that. I was like, ah, that's interesting. Next up is I Need to Dodge, which is a really cool release right here. A DVD release. It's Joe Strummer on the run. It's basically has a lot of audio from when he was interviewed. When he was in Madrid, he lost his car and he had to leave when he was the girl was having a baby of his. So he was trying to track down the car, but very little. That was like the whole concept of it, but very little was on that discussion. It was mostly talking about him collaborating with local musicians and them talking. And so I thought that was really cool. The packaging is awesome because you got the DVD there, and then you have a cassette tape of the audio interview right there, which is pretty cool. So I dig that. And then you get some other bonus kind of junky stuff right there. There's like a postcard, some like fake money there, some cash, some merchandise stuff. So that stuff is a little junky. I hate that kind of stuff, but I do like the cassette tape thing. That's a great throwback. And again, Joe Strummer, awesome musician. And again, I like the interviews, but it wasn't quite about the car so much as about him working with other musicians in Madrid. A Dog Walker's Christmas Tale, which I haven't seen yet, but I really like the actress Lexi Giovanni. I actually interviewed her. I think I did the first interview for her, but she's done some really good stuff. She did Bloody Homecoming, which is a low-budget homage kind of 80s throwback high school slasher movie that I really enjoyed. And this looks like a typical kind of Christmas romance movie. Looking forward to checking it out. And then next up, another looks like a stereotypical Christmas romance movie, The Spirit of Christmas. And looking forward to checking that one out as well. So there you go. There were my stack of movies. If you've seen them, definitely let me know what you think of them, and let me know what your favorite pickup from this lot is. Leave me a comment or video response down below. Hope everyone's doing well. Take care.